Folks, welcome back. So many of you liked the sound quality in the last video that I decided to film some more videos down here. Now, what most of you don't understand is you think it was all about getting a microphone. However, I have been using the same microphone in all of my videos now for months. Meaning, it is literally the acoustics of the other room that is the problem and not the microphone sound quality. So I did get a bunch of foam paneling and I'm going to kind of post that up all around that room. Hopefully it deafens the sound and stops the echo and poor sound quality and we can film in there again. But until then, we're stuck down here. So I hope you enjoy the aesthetics. Now, we have a lot of important things to discuss about this market and what's going on. Twilight Masquerade has dipped down in the 140s. We have Temporal Forces running up to $140. We have Stellar Crown running up to $115. We've got Surging Sparks dipping down in the 190s, running right back up into 200s. And we're going to talk about some of the sales volume and what some of the bigger stores are doing, which is important. We have the crazy pandemonium happening with the release of Prismatic Evolutions coming up. And I'm going to give you my takes and my reasoning why everything is happening the way it is and what it means going forward for the market. Now, we had another live rip and ship Friday night. I was up until 2:30 in the morning ripping packs. So over a 7-hour stream, we ripped over 1,000 packs again. It was crazy. But then I had to get up the next morning at 6 a.m., drive to Indianapolis, which was a 4.5-hour drive, and then another 4.5-hour drive back on 2 to 3 hours of sleep to buy out a card shop and their inventory. No, they were not doing poorly. They were a partnership that was breaking up and going their separate ways. So they had to liquidate what they had together. And with that purchase, it meant Alex had to pick up some Japanese 151, baby. So after all these years, Alex has his first Japanese sealed product. So now I have a position in Japanese 151 at a very good price point. No idea what I'm going to do with it. If I'm going to keep it long term, if I'm going to flip it. Honestly, I have way bigger fish to fry right now. I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just going to stick it on some shelves. And when I get time to deal with it, I'll see what the market's at and I'll decide on it then. Who knows? Maybe I'll open up some of it on a stream. But as of right now, yes, I do have some Japanese product. Light me up in the comment sections, guys. Hypocrite, right? Huge hypocrite. But no, let's start out by talking about Twilight Masquerade. Twilight Masquerade is a important case because it's the only modern booster box that is falling in this bull market, especially in Scarlet Violet era. And what I mean by this bull market, I mean in the last, I would say 3-4 months. And so it's the first time that a lot of these newcomers to the hobby who just got in the hobby in the past 3 to 4 months are experiencing losing money in a product they bought. Because up until now, anyone new to Pokemon, they just feel like, hey, I buy something with Pokemon on it and it goes up in value. This is a risk-free play. You can't lose money. It's free money. You can flip it and make money whenever you want. And so it's the first time these people are going to experience a loss. It's the first time their confidence is going to be shaken. And you've heard me say it before. The first time people get their confidence shaken is the first time we might see the market start to regulate. And this could be something that does happen with some more boxes, or it could just be a one-case scenario because Twilight Masquerade was a little overhyped, a lot of people think, and it could just be regulating back down to a price where it probably should be. In my opinion, the 140s are a healthy price for that. I don't believe it's going to crash or go down much more. This is coming from somebody who has literally one of my lowest positions out of all Scarlet Violet boxes in Twilight Masquerade. So I literally have no reason to try to keep it popped up or pumped up. Honestly, if it goes much lower, I'll probably buy some more for myself. But I do believe it'll probably stay in the 140s. That seems like a healthy price, especially for having the, second most expensive card in the entire era being the Greninja. But we'll see. We'll see. Honestly, I didn't think something like this would happen until we got a bunch more supply dumped on something. But here we are. Okay, so it's something to pay attention to. Now, at the same time, we have Temporal Forces running to $140 a box. Now, listen. I know from experience myself, and I'm not saying it's short printed, so don't act like I'm saying it's short printed or anything. But Temporal Forces has always been seemingly less on the market than every other box. It's always been more scarce. And I'm sure a lot of you have probably noticed that as well, right? There's always been, less of it available. Every person who reached out to me trying to sell their collection, right? It never has Temporal Forces in it. It'll have Paradox Rift. It'll have Paldea, base set. It'll have Silver Tempest, Brilliant Stars, Lost Origin. You know, it'll have a lot of stuff in their collections. They never have Temporal Forces. The collection I bought yesterday, I can't even count how many cases I bought from them and tons of loose boxes and loose packs. I did not buy any Temporal Forces from them. And that's always been kind of the trend, is what I've seen, is Temporal Forces seems to be in less supply than everything else. And Temporal Forces is also, in my opinion, one of the stronger sets in the era. So I think Temporal Forces is finally getting its due, the love it deserves. Maybe you could say it's pumped a little too much into the 140 range, but I think it did deserve to be at least 130 plus a box. So this seems like a logical move to me. That's my opinion. And so Temporal Forces, seeing a good move. I love to see it. Stellar Crown, $115 a box now. Now, I got flamed for saying this was going to happen when Stellar Crown was being released. Maybe I was a little early, but I do believe I did say it was going to be $115 to $120 a box because this market is too strong. It took a little bit to get there, but it has in fact gotten there. I will also tell you, this is just one person, okay? I'm not trying to say this is the whole market. It has been one of the most popular sets being opened on my live pack breaks, right behind Surging Sparks, 151, Crown Zenith, and Paldea Evolved. It's always been about the 5th open set. Now, 2 nights ago on Friday, it was one of the most open sets on the stream. We sold more Stellar Crown packs than 151, than Crown Zenith, than Paldea Evolved. Surging Sparks still outdid it, but Stellar Crown was an easy number 2. And so it does seem like people are kind of going back, and the popularity for Stellar Crown is actually picking up again. People really want to chase that Bulbasaur, that Squirtle. The prices of those cards have done nothing but rise since release, and the Terapagos is still very sought after. And so it does seem those cards are driving the opening of that set and the price of those boxes. People will say, well, Alex, it's because those packs are cheap. Well, yeah, but we're not seeing Paradox Rift be opened in mass, right? Or Temporal Forces be opened in mass, or Scarlet Violet Base be opened in mass. And those packs are just as cheap as the Stellar Crown packs were. And so it does seem that Stellar Crown is making a move based on either those cards, the bull market, whatever you want to call it, which is good to see. Paldea Evolved is taking a bit of a dip right now because it did have some more supply introduced to the market through some more restocks, not a reprint. Suppliers or distributors are starting to offer some bundles where you got to take some crappy items so you can get some Paldea Evolved boxes. So they're not being really supplied in mass right now, but there are definitely boxes that are leaking on the market, and people who want to take those quick flips, those quick tendies, they are dumping them immediately. I don't think a lot of larger sellers and larger stores are. So in my opinion, I think it's going to very quickly rise back up in the 140s again. I don't think it falls below the 130s. But right now, it has seen about a 10% drop from the mid 140s to the mid 130s. So keep an eye on that. Haven't seen much of that happen with Obsidian Flames yet, and Obsidian Flames has seen the same restocks that Paldea did, possibly even a little bit more. And so it's strange Obsidian Flames is still holding up very well, but we'll see what it does. Talking about Surging Sparks, guys, I know it dipped back into the 190s. Now it's back in the 200s. The sales volume is still very strong. And also, I did some research on TCG Player. I had to scroll 3 pages. Okay, hear me out here. This is important. I had to scroll 3 pages, okay, through about, 20, 30 sellers to finally find a seller that was a legitimate hobby shop and that had over 50,000 sales on TCG Player, okay? They had their boxes priced at $215, and all the other stores were priced at $215, $220, and higher. The only people selling their Surging Sparks are new people to the hobby, people that have very new accounts, very new stores. A lot of them have 0% feedback or like a few hundred sales. They're very new people to the hobby that are interested in taking very quick flips, realizing their gains immediately. They're wanting to do the quick, pump and dump and all that stuff. And that tells me the people who understand this hobby and have been here a long time, none of those people feel the same way. None of the people like me want to sell their boxes at $200, $205, $210. And they're not, by the way. This tells me the supply is going to continue to get eaten up very quickly, and we're going to see $215 to $220 boxes very soon, because eventually a lot of those quick flippers are going to sell out, and the price is going to make it to the price point where a lot of the more established stores and people who understand this market more feel that it's worth and feel they want to sell it for. because most of us have heard the same news from our distributors that we're likely not going to get any more product for Surging Sparks until probably February or later. Meaning going into Black Friday, Cyber Monday, going into the end of the year, Christmas time, if stores want to have product on their shelves and boxes available on their sites, they need to list them a little bit higher or else they're going to get bought out immediately. And so I do still hold true to my secondary prediction. My original prediction was Surging Sparks $200 by the end of the year. My secondary prediction after it hit 200 already was 250 to 300 by the end of the year. Now, I, for one, have not sold any of mine yet other than the inventory I bought specifically for pack breaks on my channel. If it does hit 250 to 300, I likely will start taking some gains at those levels. I am not selling any at the 200, 205, 210 level. It's still much too cheap in my opinion. Going in, and by the way, that goes for any of my positions. I have not sold any of my positions, none of my Sword and Shield, none of my Surging Spark or Stellar Crown, Surging Spark, Stellar Crown, Scarlet Violet era. And I don't plan to, at least this year. We'll reassess next year, but I think the market's still insanely strong. We're going to continue to see more price rises heading into next year. It's still a very strong bull market. So I wouldn't recommend selling, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. Moving into Prismatic Evolutions. Guys, there's a lot of takes out there. I'm going to give you mine, and I'm going to explain to you my take. The market price is the market price because the consumers set that price, okay? It's not because of greedy store owners. It's not because people are gouging people on pricing, okay? The reason the market price was cheaper on boxes and products 2 years ago and a year ago is because the consumers set that price. The consumers were not willing to pay $120, $130, $140 a booster box. They were not willing to pay $60, $70, $80 plus an ETB. So stores had to compete and undercut each other to find a price point that consumers were willing to pay, and it finds a new equilibrium, okay? That's how free markets work, if you didn't know, okay? And so what's happening right now is there's too many consumers with too much money that are willing to pay prices. Therefore, stores and sellers have to consistently rise their prices so they can keep products in stock and also meet the demand of the consumers. If you had every card store in the entire nation all list every box they were getting on pre-order, okay, at $50 an ETB or $500 a case, okay, it would not help the market. What would happen is they would all sell out and every box would still be listed at 80, 90, and 100 in ETB, $1,000 a case, $1,100 a case, okay? But now all the money would no longer be going to the card shops and the main sellers. They would be going to all of the resellers, the flippers, the scalpers, whatever name you want to call them, okay? So the money is going to flow to somebody no matter what because the consumers feel the boxes should be priced where they're at. And so demonizing card shops or sellers for selling their products at market price is not the way to go with this, guys. If you don't believe the products are worth what they are, don't buy them. Don't demonize card shops for trying to price things at a price point to keep things in stock, okay? If they price them too low, they'll sell out immediately. They'll have nothing in stock when the product's released. They'll have nothing in stock for, Black Friday or Christmas or next year or whatever it may be, right? Stores need to price their items so that they have inventory and they don't sell out and people come in their shops or log on their sites and they don't see sold out on everything or the shelves aren't empty, okay? And if customers are still willing to pay those prices, that tells the seller, the store owner, that they're marked at a good price. They're not selling too fast. They're not selling at all. The customers, for the most part, are still willing to pay it at a smaller amount. And that's a good thing. That's a healthy, free market. And so when the boxes and the ETBs were all selling at, $90 a box, $40 an ETB, $35 an ETB, no one cared then, right? No one said the boxes should be priced higher and the store owners should make money. The store owners all got crushed back then. They sold things for pennies on the dollar, barely made anything, maybe made a little, maybe lost a little, and everyone was happy. But now that the store owners are able to make a little bit of money, everyone's upset, all right? Now, I agree with you. Now, let me rephrase. I agree with you. I think it's too high as well. I want the kids to be able to have a happy Christmas too. I want them to be able to open all the packs that they want to open. I agree. But to demonize one group over another because the market is what it's at, that's not the way to go, guys, okay? It's not greedy, evil people. It's too many consumers with too much money running the price up on products and setting a new price point on a free market. And so I'll tell you right now, if I had product right now and I bought it for $40 and normally I sell it for $50 and everyone else on the whole market is selling it for $80, I'm going to list it at $80, or maybe I undercut them at $79 or $75, but I'm surely not going to list it at $40 or $50, because if I do, I'm just going to get bought out and someone else is going to realize the profits on a flipper on the market. So it's like, who's better to get the money? The flippers, scalpers, or those people, the secondary sellers, or the primary sellers in the stores? I'd rather have the stores get the money, to be honest with you. If the box is going to sell for 80 to 100 in ETB on Prismatic either way, I'd rather give it to the store owners than the flippers or secondary sellers who have other jobs and they just do this on the side to try to get free tendies whenever a market comes like this, right? I'd much rather go to the store owners, okay, who are here through thick and thin, through ups and downs. So that's my opinion there. Other than that, though, guys, I think the market's still extremely strong, even though we've seen the downturn on Twilight Masquerade. I think it's going to probably, fizzle out too. I think it's probably going to stop around the 140s, probably continue to rise after that or stay stagnant maybe into the new year. But I don't think there's any rush to move into things. I don't think we're seeing like, this massive like price spikes on all these modern boxes yet. But I do think it is still a good idea to pick them up as you can. I'm not saying to rush into or FOMO into them, but if you can still pick up Paradox, it's a great idea, right? If you can find deals on Temporal off of TCG Player, I think it's a good idea, right? I think, Paldea on this restock, Obsidian on this restock, great ideas. I still think Base is a good idea. I still think Silver Tempest and Astral Radiance and Brilliant Stars under $200 is a good idea. Like, I still think there's great opportunities and good times to pick up these products before they really take off next year, which I really think they will, in my opinion. If you are wanting to take some profits on Surging Sparks, right? Don't get me wrong. I know I'm saying like it's the people trying to do the free tendies and the quick flippers and all that. But hey, if you haven't been in the hobby long and you have a possibility and a option to take some, profits on your Surging Sparks, I'm not mad at you. Go ahead, roll the money into something else you can do better on, and you're not too fearful on of getting a restock or a reprint and dropping the price. As far as the Prismatic goes, guys, I don't have a dog in this fight. I put in orders from my distributor. I put in orders with other programs I'm in. I'm going to try to get as much of it as I can. No idea my numbers or how much I'm going to get, but I'm going to need it for pack breaks. I'm probably sure I won't get enough for that. I won't get as much as I need. I'll probably be buying off the secondary market as well. And so would I like it to be cheaper? Sure. I don't care what it sells for. I'd rather it be cheap and people to be able to buy more packs. But, it's just the sign of the times that we're in. We can't fight it. We can't get angry about it. We just have to navigate it the best way that we know how and use our finances the best we can. And if your finances no longer go as far, you just have to get smaller positions. And if you can, buy other positions that you can do better in, I would suggest to do that. And again, last thing I'm going to say is be okay with missing out. It's okay if you missed out on Prismatic on this first wave. It's okay if you didn't get any, you can't make a quick flip. It's okay if you don't have any Surging Sparks, right? Maybe you can pick up more in the future at a cheaper price. Maybe there'll be another deal that comes along that you can get on another set, right? You don't need to hit every play. You don't need to be in every set. You certainly don't need to be in every set at release, guys. We have 2-3 years for these sets to be printed, for lower price points to come, for markets to change. It'll be okay. Settle down. Don't FOMO. There's tons of plays out there if you have money to spend. And continue to keep enjoying the hobby, and best of luck to everybody out there, guys. Subscribe if you're not yet, and I'll be back here in a new one soon. I'm out.